Do you ever feel like you get stuck prioritizing all of your tasks? What if there's a way to help you be more productive with less effort and less time? If you ever found yourself overwhelmed by a bunch of to-dos, today's video is a game changer. I'm going to show you how I transform my chaotic, unmanageable list of tasks into a streamlined roadmap for success thanks to a secret weapon called Todoist. I'll show you what I've tried in the past and what I'm doing right now that is working for me. And this isn't just an app that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the exact system I'm using to prioritize my day and get more done. And I'll walk you through all the features that I use in Todoist that revolutionize my workflow and help me be more productive. And here's the best part. I'm going to show you how to unlock Todoist's full potential so that you can transform the way you approach your daily tasks. All right, let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what I've tried in the past. So what I've tried is I've tried an app called 𝗖𝗪, and 𝗖𝗪 is actually a really neat app. It lets you actually prioritize and time block your tasks pretty nice and easily. But the thing is, number one, there is no easy way to quickly capture tasks. And one thing that's really important for me is to quickly capture a task, whether I'm on the road or on my laptop. It has to be an easy way to capture tasks. And I couldn't do this through the iPhone. So another thing was that I couldn't find a good backlog system with 𝗖𝗪, and no, there was no iPhone widget to quickly view my tasks. So this one's another really important one for me because I want to be able to quickly view my tasks without actually having to click into the app. I've tried using Notion. The thing about Notion, it's a tool you could use for lots of things. And if you try to use it for everything, it could get a little overwhelming and messy. So the thing about a written journal like this one, which I actually love using, it's called the Productivity Planner. You can probably find it on Amazon. The thing about this is it's digital, so it's not really stored anywhere. If I'm on the road, I can't view my task unless I'm carrying this thing around all the time. So that's the downside of this. I've tried an app called 𝗖𝗪, which is similar to Todoist. I didn't think it was as user-friendly or intuitive as Todoist. And Todoist has been my favorite task management to-do app, and here's why. So here's 3 reasons. Number one, it's super user-friendly and simple. A lot of the times these apps make it so complex, and what I just needed was just something simple and bare bones. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like Notion so much as well, because I love using Notion, but it's too complex. There's too much to do. I want simple. Even if there's limitations involved with an app, sometimes that is good for you. So it just keeps everything simple. You can easily capture tasks from your phone. So like I mentioned, the widget is really important for me. So the cool thing about the Todoist widget here, I can see the top 3 tasks for the day. I can quickly check them off, and I can also add a task here. They also have this widget here where you could just click this button and quickly add a task. And then number 3, it incorporates natural language processing features to enable users to input tasks using human language. So this one is really important, and I didn't realize how productive and effective this feature actually is. So imagine, here's an example. Call mom tomorrow. So you can see here, it added the date for tomorrow at 4 p.m. So added the time, right? So just by typing out tomorrow at 4 p.m., it just quickly gets the date and gets that from this piece of text. You can also do call mom next week at 5 p.m. or schedule a gym session with Tony next Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. And it actually gets that, which is really cool. You also have other things like priority, reminders, labels, all of that. But this feature, it actually is a game changer and actually helps a lot when capturing tasks. So those are 3 of the ways. Oh, and actually here's the 4th one. Here's a bonus one. You can easily prioritize tasks. So they have 4 flags in Todoist: P1, P2, P3, P4. P1 being like priority 1, the most important. So same thing here, call mom tomorrow at 4 p.m. P2, so you just added the flag here so you could see that it prioritized this task, which I'm going to go into why this is really important. And one of the ways I've been prioritizing my task is using this thing called the Eisenhower Matrix. The Eisenhower Matrix allows us to prioritize our tasks by understanding their urgency and importance. Okay. So number 1, with the Eisenhower Matrix, there's 4 quadrants. Quadrant number 1 is the urgent, important quadrant. So these are the tasks that you want to do. right? So tasks with deadlines or consequences, you do these tasks. The ones that are not urgent, but they're important, you can schedule these tasks for later, right? So these, the urgent and important ones, you have to do those now because they're important and urgent. There's a deadline. These are also important, but they're not as urgent. So let's schedule those out. These are not important, but they're urgent. Tasks that must get done, but they don't require your specific skill set. And why this is important is because as you start identifying these P3 tasks or these quadrant 3 tasks, you can start realizing, hey, you know what? These are a lot of the tasks I could probably start handing off to a VA or to another team member. And then the not urgent, not important, you just delete these ones. These are distractions, they're unnecessary. Just don't deal with that, right? So that's the idea of the Eisenhower Matrix. So same thing here. Number 1, do. 2, schedule. 3, delegate. 4, delete. Okay. So in Todoist, what's really cool is we have 4 default priority flags, P1 through P4. And the way I set it up in Todoist is P1, it's the do, P2 is the schedule, P3 is delegate, P4 is delete. So we're already using these default flags that are already in Todoist, and we're just categorizing them a little differently using the Eisenhower Matrix. So what I did is I created a label for each quadrant. So these are all labels in Todoist. And I also created a filter here. And the reason why I created the filter is then I could quickly just click on the filter and it'll filter it down for all the P1 tasks, all the P2 tasks, all of that, right? And then I saved it as my favorite, and I'll kind of show you how that works. So all I have to do is add the priority flag, and I can easily view the filtered view for the specific task. So with this, instead of using labels, because you can create labels and use these labels here like P1, the way you would use labels in Todoist, you would put the @ and then you would put your label name like at P1, whatever. That's cool, but instead I like using the flags because it's quick. It's just P1, right? It's already built in Todoist, which makes it convenient. And then another tip you want to do is you want to sort your daily view. When viewing your task, you want to ensure that it's sorting priority, so sort by priority, descending. And then another tip is that you want to prepare the day before, and this one is actually a game changer because you don't want to wake up the next day and try to figure out what to do. Prepare the day before. And here's another hack. So what I like to do is only schedule 6 tasks for the day. Another thing I've noticed is that if I have a lot of tasks scheduled for that day, whether it's like 10, 20 tasks, I just get more overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. So what I like to do is just limit the task per day. So 1 P1, so this is your most important task of the day, meaning if you were to get this one task done, you would move the needle forward in your life, business, whatever, right? You'd be satisfied. P2, these are your secondary tasks of importance. So if you complete these tasks, it'll make your day even better. P3s, do these only after you completed the other task, and any other P4s that need to get done that day, get them done, right? So this is a good system I like to do, not jam-pack my day with tasks and try to just limit it and prioritize it. Here's an example. So you have 1 P1, your 2 P2s, you could add any P3s, and then you have your P4s. So this is what that looks like. And then another tip is that you want to eat the frog first thing in the morning. So concentrate only on that first task, your P1, which should be your most important task of the day. And this is really important because how you start the day sets the tone for the rest of it, right? So if you're to get your P1 out of the way first, then you already technically would have a successful day because you moved the needle forward and it was a really important task. So work on each task and then just go down the list. And once you get to the end, you can always bring in more tasks that you have in your backlog. And then here's a quote by Mark Twain. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. So basically, do it first thing in the morning and do your most important task first. And here's another tip or quote from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It basically talks about how people confuse importance with urgency. Urgent tasks are really easy to see, but the important ones are harder to discern. Meaning, if I have to pay a speeding ticket tomorrow, I can easily identify that it's urgent because of the deadline. But trying to figure out what's important is a little harder. Trying to figure out what is actually important for me to do in my life or my business that's going to move the needle forward. So that's actually coming from habit number 3, which is put first things first. So many people spend their time reacting to urgent circumstances and emergencies and never invest the necessary effort to develop the ability to prevent emergencies, to exercise personal management. They confuse the important with the urgent. The urgent is easy to see. The important is harder. The important is harder to discern. Effective management is putting first things first. And as a bonus tip, the reason why I created the labels in the first place is because I can do this. If I do this @ symbol, I get the list of all the labels and I could quickly see, okay, P1 means urgent and important, meaning due. So this just makes it easier and it's a little hack for you to do. So with that said, that is how I use Todoist to manage my tasks for my day. And it's helped literally streamline my days and tasks and help me be more productive. If you like this video, make sure to comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.